Welcome to Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June the 29th. I was doing a video and then I was playing around with my dog. He was jumping on my chair and I was trying to get him on the camera. I accidentally put stop, so now we're restarting our video. So I'm not going to talk about everything I said last time because I was just mumbling. So let's talk about AEW, TNA, Slammiversary, and NXT Great American Bash, because I did not know that Slammiversary started at 4 p.m. Why? I did not know that. But ladies and gentlemen, I didn't watch Slammiversary. I did not watch AE Dynamite, but I saw some of the highlights and all the, they got some crazy news and sad news for TNA. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a return on TNA and the debut. And on AEW, we got new champions. We got new champions on TNA, and we got a return. And we found out who's going for the titles at All In because of the Owen Hart Cups matches. So we're going to start out with AEW, and then we go to TNA, and then we go to the NXT Great American Bash. So ladies and gentlemen, we got Drilla Moonley versus Daniel Garcia. I don't know who this Drilla Moonley. Let's see if we can find a picture of this guy. Still don't know who that is. It looks like David. It looks like somebody. I don't know. I was gonna say David Finley. Is that his name? Is? I know he has a match here. I always want to say David Flair. Why do I want to say David Flair? I think he passed. I missed it. Yes, I did. David Finley. Why do I want to say David Flair? The winner of that match was Drilla Moonley, getting the win. And then we have Makia versus Sky Blue in the TBS Championship Survival Fitness Qualified match. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have a Survival Fitness match for the TBS title. I believe it's happening this Wednesday at Dynamite. For the TBS title, because it was vacated because Willow Nightingale got injured and she has to vacate the title. So now we're going to have a Survival Fitness match for the TBS title. Next, we have Divine Dominion, Megan Bain, and Lena Cross versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia for the women's tag team titles. The winner of that match was Megan Bain and Lena Cross. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, will be versing El Sky Team, Mystico and Misra Dorada, and Unbound, Cole Shingo Tahangi and Titan in a three-way tag team match. The winner of that match was the Young Bucks. I thought I heard that Killer Cross made his debut. I looked it up. I looked at the social media of AEW. On Facebook, on Instagram, I didn't see anything. Did he actually debut or not? Or Facebook is just playing around with me. Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. People say it was a great match. The winner of that match was Kenny Omega. Then we had Jon Moxley versus Bandito for the AEW Continental Championship. Everybody's saying this was a great match too. The winner of that match was Jon Moxley. And he retains his title. Shoto Onimoto versus Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. My goodness. I can't even say a lot of these guys' names from New Japan Pro Wrestling, man. Jeez. I hate when I can't speak normally. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match and still the Global Heavyweight Champion is Shota. Tickla versus Starlight Kid for the AEW Women's World Championship. Tickla just making she's being a bully to the promotion. The leader, the boss of New Japan Pro Wrestling, keeps whacking him and grabbing by his tie. Well, she unzipped his jacket, and then she grabs the tie because he was hiding the tie. Grabs it. He won't stop beating the poor guy up. He's not doing anything. He fired you because you won't stop beating him up. Every time you go to a Stardom, is it Stardom? I think it was Stardom, not New Japan. Stardom, every time you go there, you keep beating the guy up. I wonder why you get fired. The winner of that match, and still the Women's World Champion, AEW Women's World Champion, let's say that, is Tickler. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, he has to do the disrespect and rip off the masks of Starlight, because that's not what you're supposed to do with luchadors. And then we have Cope and Cage, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The winner of that match was Cope and Cage, but it wasn't, I guess it wasn't done there. The lights went out. We saw the Gun Club, Ace Austin, Colton Gunn, Juice Robinson, Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn, and ladies and gentlemen, and then the lights went out again, and Jay White makes his return and attacks David Finlay and saves Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Jay White is back. I believe that's the only surprise they had. We have Mercedes Moné versus Maya World for the Women's Owen Hart Cup Finals. The winner receives a Women's World Championship match at All In. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match and going to All In and getting a shot of the Women's Championship against Tickler, Mercedes Moné. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in the steel cage, they got a new steel cage. It was a circle steel cage for the 12-man steel cage match. A lot of things happened. We saw Leo Rush hiding in a hockey bag, helping Team Briscoe. There was thumbtacks. MJF did not like thumbtacks and all that stuff. We saw oranges going into wounds of Kyle Fletcher. And ladies and gentlemen, we saw a betrayal for Don Callis family member Andrade. He did a low blow on Jake Doyle, and he rips off the Team Don Callis t-shirts, and it says, F you, Don Callis, and F you to MJF. He's out of the Don Callis family. Finally. So, ladies and gentlemen, Team Briscoe beats Team Don Callis family and MJF in a Death Door match. What the hell? That's the name of the cage? Death Door match? That's supposed to sound cool? Since Briscoe's team won, he earned a AEW World Championship match against MJF, and we heard it's on Dynamite. So he's not going to win. Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland for the Men's Owen Hart Cup Finals. The winner receives a World Championship match at All In, and the winner of that match and goes to All In and faces whoever wins, Mark Briscoe or MJF. The winner of that match, the man that's going to his hometown in the UK, Will Ospreay. Wow. Crazy, crazy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to Slammiversary announced two things. Let's talk about the sad news. The sad news, last week, they lost a member of their family. This guy been going through a lot, I believe, like brain cancer or something like that, or something like a brain disorder. But this guy was in TNA, and then he was gone for years because of his brain problem. And the last time we saw him he was part of the Violent by Design. That was a long time ago. Cody Deaner now is hometown man. Eric Young there's no Violent by Design anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, we heard from last week, this man, Joe Doring, passed away. They had the 10 belt salutes and the a minute of silence for Joe Doring. Rest in peace to Joe Doring. The guy was a monster. He was a great wrestler. But ladies and gentlemen, it's sad to hear about this guy. Well, good news is that they're going to bring a new championship. Tracy Brooks, a TNA Hall of Famer, comes out after the triple threat match between Alina Black, Indy Hartwell, and Mauro Chalet. I think it was after or before, one of those. She comes out and she says, starting Thursday on TNA Impact, there's going to be a 16 women knockouts tournament. And the winner of that tournament will become the first ever TNA's Knockouts television champion. They bring out the title. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe you guys didn't see it. I just want to find a picture of it. I just want a picture. This is the picture. I don't know if you guys can see that. So bright. But it looks pretty cool. It's silver. And they have the Knockout TV on it. And it's purple. So it's better than the red strap Knockouts tag team titles. It looked like the Lucha Underground Trios titles. Never looked great. Or the Universal title. It never looked great. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have a tournament, a 16 knockouts. I don't think they have 16. So they might have some NXT guys. Or women. Or they're going to have some people that never wrestled on TNA. Just like we had a debut here. So those are the two big announcements that wasn't part of the show. There was another announcement. And I will tell you guys more about that when we get there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a triple threat match between the knockouts. We have Alina Black versus Indy Hartwell and Mara Sade versus Mara Sade. The winner of that match was Alina Black. We have Ricky Sosa versus Eric Young. The winner of that match was Ricky Sosa. We had the Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. Cedric Alexander versus Amazing Red. Frankie Kazarian, Fabian Aichner, Casey Navarro, Leon Slater, and Mr. Anglins. The winner of that match, and still your X Division Champion, Cedric Alexander. But after this match happened, Frankie Kazarian has some news to say to Amazing Red. And Amazing Red will be inducted to the TNA's Hall of Fame in Bound for Glory. And we're not done there. There was another one that got inducted. And his name is Conan. He's going to be inducted as well. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have Elijah. Will be versing AJ Francis. And if Elijah had won or lost, Francis will have owned his name, likeness, and music catalog. The winner of that match was Elijah. He won, and he got his name back. He got his likeness. He got his music catalog. He's back at what he is. We have the Demon and Bunny. Rosemary and Ali versus the Angelus brand, Heather and M, for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. And the winner of that match, and your new Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Rosemary and Ali. I knew this was going to happen. Good job for Ali winning another title. We have Mustafa Ali. He wanted a open challenge for his international championship. He didn't get one opponent. They got two opponents. I guess Daria Ray found opponents and Satino found opponents. And we got Rich Swann as one of the opponents. And ladies and gentlemen, the debuts of UA Nation, a.k.a. Apollo Crews, makes his debut in TNA for the International Championship. But the winner of that match, and still your International Champion, Mustafa Ali. And then we got Moose versus versus Eddie Edwards in the No Surrender match. But I saw what happened at the end. They tied up Moose. They attacked JDC. They tied up Moose on the ropes. And they attacked Moose's family. His kid. I think his kid named King. And his wife. But the kid low-blowed Eddie Edwards. And when that happened, the wife slapped Alicia Edwards in the head. In the face. And then Moose rips out of the tape and I believe I forgot what they call them. Zip ties. He ripped out of those, and he did a spear, and the winner of that match was Moose. I guess Alicia Showers threw in the towel. Xia Brookside versus Li Yang Li for the Knockouts Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match and your new Knockouts Champion, Xia Brookside. She was in NXT UK and couldn't win the NXT UK Women's Championship, but now she's the face of the TNA Knockouts, and now she could be the champion. She is the champion now. We had the Broken Hardys. Matt and Brother Nero will be versing the System. Brian Myers and Ben Bronson, the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, and the Great Hands. Jason Hodge and John Skyler. 4-way ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And your winner of this match, I'm not a big fan of this, but new TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Broken Hardys. Not a big fan because they just held them and now they're going to hold them again. Jesus. Nick Nevitt cashing his Call Your Shot trophy against Mike Santana. You give him a chance. They had a match, and ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match and your new TNA World Champion, Nick Nevitt. But ladies and gentlemen, we heard the rumors. Mike Santana might be leaving TNA. Leon Slater might be leaving TNA as well. So maybe that's why he lost the title, and that's why Leon Slater did not win the title. They might be gone from TNA. But ladies and gentlemen, we heard about MLW. We heard about Bishop, I forgot his name, Baron Corbin. He has contract problems as well. He has a lot of demands, and MLW thinks is ridiculous demands. But will he join WWE, or will he stay on MLW? He's the tag team champion with Dijak. Will he come back? Is he the one that's under the blanket of Danhausen's experiment? We will find that out whenever his contract expires. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the NXT Great American Bash. There was no pre-show match, but they did have like pre-show talking about all the matches. We had Kevin Owens there. We had the guy that hosts his Busted Open with Bully Ray or Bubba Ray, and we had Blake Howard, one of the interviewers of NXT. Keanu Carver put Hank through a table when he got so angry because we heard that EK Prosper has a title shot. He has a title shot against the AAA Latin American Champion on NXT. We're going to see Big Kingo in a WWE ring. I can't wait. It will be EK Prosper versus Big Kingo. That's going to be an interesting match. Both high flyers for the Latin American Championship. And we heard that because Jackson Drake and the Benetti, whatever name, the swipe right guys, keep giving Mr. Robert Stone a headache. He's going to put Jackson Drake in a match next week against Mason Rook. I had to think about who he was facing. And then, like Johnny told the tag team champions, they're going to defend their tag team titles against Dr. Wanger Jr. and Galeno on NXT. I think Galeno is supposed to be Dr. Wanger Jr.'s brother. So they're going for the tag team titles. We got a Latin American Championship on the line. Jackson Drake versus Mason Rook. Big NXT after Great American Bash. Well, speaking of American Bash, to start off the show, we got Tony D'Angelo defends his title against Naruko. And ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of the match, they put each other through a wall. Where that balcony is. They put each other through that wall. But, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match, and still your NXT champion, Tony D'Angelo. It was a pretty decent match. But Tony D'Angelo gets the win with a burn eye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this kind of stole the night. Tatum Paxley versus Zarya for the NXT Women's North American Championship. These ladies destroyed the living hell each other. Like, there was a nasty shot on the outside. I forgot what it was, but it was a big thud. And we thought Tatum Paxley would win this because she did a finisher outside the ring, a finisher in the ring, and we thought she had it, but she didn't. We got an F5 from Zarya. We thought she had it, but she didn't get it. But you saw Zarya stomping the head of Tatum Paxley into the mat, and then at F5, Zarya retains the title. Crazy. This is one of the matches I didn't care for. Because it's about Mr. NXT. Who the hell cares? Charlotte Hill versus Tristan Angels. Some reason we had the match go under the ring. Yeah, we actually went under the ring. There was a camera under the ring, and Tristan, and there was a cell phone in there as well. Saying a whole bunch of nonsense, and then here comes Charlotte Hill under the ring with a mask on and start choking out Tristan Angels. Tristan Angels used one of the turnbuckle rod-looking things, so I guess to, like, I think it's a replacement of the turnbuckle pads, turnbuckles, and he starts whacking them. That's a disqualification, but there's no ref seeing it. And then when Tristan got out of the ring, Charlotte Hill was behind the guy again and trying to choke him out. The winner of that match was Charlotte Hill. I wasn't really caring for it. Ren Sinclair versus Ariana Grace for the Speed Championship. Remember what Ren Sinclair says. Both Kendall Gray and herself will be champions. And well, Kendall Gray said it. Will be champions after Great American Bash. Did it happen? I will tell you guys if it did. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pretty decent match. But Ren Sinclair got her revenge on Charlie Dempsey because he betrayed the No Quarter Cash Crew. She slapped the living hell out of him. And the winner of that match was Ren Sinclair and retains her title. Well, we had Shaquan Sugars versus Leon Lennox. These guys destroyed each other. They want to get rid of each other. Oasis and Griffin and Cutler comes out. Cutler was in a sling because what happened to him. But these guys got to win. The winner of that match was Sugars. But Sugars won the match but did not win the war. Because there was a 3-on-1 beatdown onto Sugars from the Dark States. We have Miles Bourne versus Tibia Heights for the North American Championship. It was a little slow in the beginning, but at the end it was pretty decent. But the winner of that match and still your North American Champion, Miles Bourne. And ladies and gentlemen, the match that everybody been waiting for. Kendall Gray versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship. It was a pretty decent match. The fans went nuts. I went nuts. Kalani Jordan somehow, for some reason, come out and tried to ruin the match. Didn't really do anything. Thanks to Ren Sinclair, got rid of Kalani Jordan. Kalani Jordan had a brawl with Tatum Paxley in backstage. I thought she has a problem with Tatum Paxley. But ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match and your new NXT Women's Champion, Kendall Gray. She wins the championship. Ren Sinclair and Kendall are both champions after the Great American Bash. My goodness, crazy town, crazy night, crazy weekend with a whole bunch of wrestling. We got Night of Champions, we had the Great American Bash, AEW Forbidden Doors, Slammiversary, craziness! And ladies and gentlemen, we heard that in August, on one weekend, Saturday, I believe Saturday and Sunday, there's going to be double duty for WWE. There's going to be a Triple H show. And NXT's Heat Wave is happening as well. Crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy night. It's a crazy year to be a wrestling fan because there's a lot of wrestling happening. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, rest in peace to Joe Doring. It's sad to hear about a wrestler passing away, especially Joe Doring. The guy was dealing with this problem, this sickness for years. He couldn't come to TNA. It's not like Chris Bay. He was injured. And he could come back anytime. He could, when he's okay to heal up, he could wrestle. This guy couldn't wrestle. Because of this goddamn freaking sickness. Anything could happen. Life could be short, guys. Life could be short. Never take it granted. Always be grateful. Don't be spoiled brats. Because whatever you have, is at least you have it. There's some people who don't have these things. Gaming, TV, food, water, a place to stay. I know I complain about my building sometimes. I think everybody complains where they live because everywhere around here, around where they are, there's dang people around, and they mess up things. But remember, you have to be grateful that you have a roof on your head. Because if I didn't, the sun will beam on me. It will beam on my dad. It will beam on my brother, and it will be annoying. It will beam on my dog. It will be annoying. I feel sorry for the homeless people. I do feel sorry for them. But sometimes this world is just hard and life is just soaring and a lot of things happens. But ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw results. I believe we're back to normal. We're going to 8 o'clock again, and now let's see what happens. Will we find Obafemi's opponents at SummerSlam? Would it be the WWE Champion, Sami Zayn, or would it be the World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns? I would like to see Obafemi face Roman Reigns. That would be a great match. But that's all me today. Time is out. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.